You're like, I'm gonna do it right now. Good evening, and we are getting ready to get started. Let me pin my video. Thank you so much for being here on Mondays. All roads lead to book club. So, my name is Nina Moore. And if this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome to what I believe is going to be the first day of the best days of your life. If this is your first time logging on to book club with us, let us know in the comments by putting a one in the comments. If you are here with us all the time, go ahead and put a two in the comments so that we know that you are here to win. You're here to right. You're here to win. And so, listen, book club is so important. Um, and I have been doing book club now for 6 years on Mondays, and we're here every single Monday unless there's a holiday or I'm traveling. But we're here, and book club is so important because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so on Mondays, I am here to fill your cup. Another reason why book club is so important, and these are not in any order of importance, but book club is so important because leaders are readers. And if we desire to lead in any capacity of our lives, of our businesses, and our relationships, then guess what? We must read. Another reason why book club is so important is because we will never, ever earn more than we learn. And so because of that, 6 years ago, as a matter of fact, it was right when COVID began. I started doing a book club because I realized that there was a time in my life when I really didn't enjoy reading. But what God has given me is a gift, and the gift that I have is that I have the gift to help you understand the mind of the author. And so we make reading fun. We're currently reading Born Rich by Bob Proctor, who is my uncle in my mind, right? He's my uncle in my mind, my mentor. But this book has been a tremendous blessing so far. We are on chapter 5. Chapter 5 is Expect an Abundance. Now, what I love about our book club is that we don't rush through. We don't rush through. And if you stay on at the very end, we will probably, depending on time, we may or may not be able to stop the recording that's live right now on YouTube. And then we'll actually have some time that we can talk offline, right? Offline, so that it's a little more intimate space, just depending on our time. We may be able to, because I actually do another Zoom right at 8 o'clock on this same line that you are more than welcome to join us for. So what I would love to do is I want to define the word expect, and I want to define the word abundance. And I'm going to go ahead and get those definitions for you, because I believe that we think we know what words mean. We think we know. We have a very surface level definition or understanding of what words mean. But when we actually break the words down and get a better understanding of what those words that we've been using and reading and saying all of our lives, you get a much broader understanding of how we're reading this book. So chapter 5 says expect an abundance. Well, what does the word expect mean? The word expect means that we have to regard something as likely to happen. Believe that someone or something will arrive soon. It means that it's a verb, it's the third person, present, or past tense is expected. Believe that someone else, regard that someone as likely to do or be something, require someone to fulfill an obligation, right? So we expect. To expect an abundance is to require someone or something, right, to fulfill an obligation. Expect, to regard something as likely to happen. It is very likely that this thing is going to happen. Then we're going to look up the definition of abundance. Let's see what abundance really means. The definition of abundance is a very large quantity of something, plentifulness of the good things of life, comma, prosperity. The quantity or amount of something. Abundance. Let me see something. is a very large quantity of something, a plentiful supply, or a state of having more than enough. I think that's the one that gets it for me, right? It's the state of having more than enough. Abundance in its simplest form refers to a very large quantity of something, a plentiful supply, or a state of having more than enough. It often implies a state of wealth, prosperity, or affluence, but it can also describe the plentifulness of natural resources or even positive qualities like love, and happiness. Because how many of us know that health is a part of abundance? It's not just money. Because honestly, you guys, health is wealth. And if I've got my health, then I've got abundance, right? And so, what I want us to understand when we read chapter 5, expect an abundance, this says to regard it as it is so. It is so. And what this abundance is an overabundance. It says that it's a very large quantity of something, plentiful supply, or a state of having more than enough. I need everybody in the comments to type in more than enough. And let me tell you why that's important. That is so important because oftentimes we operate out of a scarcity mentality. We operate out of a place of where we judge everything in the world according to what we currently have right now. But God says He's a God of abundance, that we have a birthright to this abundance, and the book chapter 5 says to expect more than enough. That's what I need y'all to understand. The book says that we have to now regard it as something that's highly regarded to happen. So we got to expect more than enough. The mind is a powerful magnet. We starting. The mind is a powerful magnet. It says, and as such, it attracts whatever corresponds to its ruling state. So what's happening? We're attracting exactly what we're thinking. So if we're sitting home, I don't care how much we fake and oh, I'm happy for you, and we acting like we celebrating other people. But if we're really sitting home like, oh, they get on my nerves. Why they always winning? So basically, you might as well just kill it. You might as well just go ahead, squash the clay down and start all over again, because this says the mind is a powerful magnet, and as such, it attracts whatever corresponds to its ruling state. Whatever rules you is what is going to show in public. Whatever rules us is what shows in public. So expectation dictates what that ruling state will be, and therefore governs what corresponds to the mind and is attracted into your life. Expectation can be either a blessing or a curse, but either way, it is certainly one of the most powerful unseen forces in your life. What are you doing, the book is asking, to increase your income? What are you doing to increase your income? I want y'all to write that. If you're taking notes, write it down. This is a good space to take a moment. Remember, we don't rush. What are you doing? Because most people, I'm going to tell you what you're probably starting to write down. You're writing all of the physical things you're doing to make more income. But when it comes to making more income, this has everything to do with what we do mentally, spiritually, first, before, oh, well, I have an extra business. Oh, well, I work the blah, blah, blah amount of days a week. That's not where our mind should go first. Where our mind should go first is, because here's the thing. In order for us to have more, we got to become more. So the mind immediately should have gone to who we're becoming. What are we doing to increase our income? I know for Nina Moore, I'm doing all that I can to increase my capacity. I'm doing all that I can to increase my influence. I'm doing all that I can to make sure that I learn more. I just signed up for a whole nother social media mastermind. Me, the social media queen, signed up for another social media mastermind. I don't know how I'm going to have time to fit it in. See, that's the problem. We always try to figure out the end before we even get started. I'm going to figure it out. You know why? Because it's what I need to take me to the next level to make me a more valuable commodity. So what am I doing to increase my income? I am increasing my skill set. I am increasing my knowledge. I am increasing. Does this make sense, everybody? See, but too many people are afraid to invest in themselves. Because we think we know it all. Or we just think, oh, Nina, my friend, she'll get it and then she'll teach us all. Well, what if I don't? Well, what if I don't? Well, what if I don't? What are you doing? The book is asking, what are you doing to increase your income? You can't wait or reside or ride off of the coattail of what somebody else got. Because that anointing is for them. And although the oil spills over and it flows down, what are you doing to increase your income? If your answer to this question is nothing, or if you are just beginning to think seriously about what you could do, you have probably not yet grasped the ideas presented in the previous chapters. Because all in the beginning of this book, it's told us what to do. It basically outlined Think and Grow Rich in every one of these 4 chapters preceding chapter 5. What we think about, we bring about. What we think about, we bring about. So I've been praying for overflow. Now I got to pray not just for overflow, but I got to pray for people who are there to help me with the overflow. So I was at an event Saturday evening and I turned around. My husband had to walk somebody to their car and I'm standing there with an overflow and abundance of people waiting in line to get a stability test. I had to then recruit a friend of mine who was not in my business to record. Then she started trying to explain to other people that were standing in line. So now I got to add to my prayer because I was left in a space where I was alone, right? Now I got to add to my prayer. Now, Lord, that you've increased my capacity and you've given me overflow. Now give me soldiers who will stand in the gap with me. That's now what's got to be the prayer because I can't turn around and everybody be gone. Does that make sense? Because I prayed for the one thing, but I wasn't specific enough, Sonia. I wasn't specific enough. Because you clearly can't do it all by yourself. But I turned around and everybody was gone. So now my prayer has to get even more specific because I've grasped the ideas in the previous chapters, which is why one of the prayers I'm praying is for overflow. Right? But I make it work. I never complain. I just make it work. And then I take notes. The chapters in this book resemble the individual pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Everything in this book that we've been reading thus far literally is about finding the pieces that are within, that are in us, and rearranging them like you do when you're doing a puzzle and you're only moving the pieces around. You're not looking for something outside of yourself or external. You're moving the pieces around. Each is related one to the other in such a way that if we put them all together, we can see the entire picture. So now that we're reading these chapters in Born Rich and we're realizing that all I got to do is have a different way of thinking. All I got to do is actually really write it out like what I really want. All I got to do is, and I can have all of these things by just rearranging some pieces because that puzzle piece don't really go right there. And I need to look for the ends of the puzzle piece first, right? And if I get the border done, then I certainly can fill in the inside. Oh, maybe y'all never did puzzles. I did puzzles as a kid. We used to glue them onto a cardboard and then poster board and then hang them up. So since you are now well into the heart of the book, we're into the heart of this book, I would ask that you pay particularly close attention to the ideas which follow so you can use them to successfully tie all the pieces together. You will soon discover that if the ideas in this chapter are applied with intelligence, expectation can be the triggering mechanism that attracts into your life every good that you desire. I don't know about y'all, but as for me, I am literally every single day walking in expectation, but I'm also willing to do the work. See, because I can't expect for God to just bam and zap me over the head with a thing that I've been praying for or a blessing, but I'm not willing to do the work. I'm not willing to pull all nighters if need be. I know this is when we start losing people right here because all nighter. I need my sleep. All nighter. So you will soon discover, says you will soon discover, expectation can be triggering mechanism that attracts into your life every good that you desire. However, if you do not exercise extreme caution, expectation can just as rapidly turn into a destructive, lethal enemy. Therefore, you must be cognizant of how you are exercising this invisible but powerful force. I believe that you already understand that you cannot have wealth in your material world until you have first visualized the wealth in your mind. Let me tell you all. So there was a time in my life when I wouldn't speak. And I would say to people, if they would ask me to speak, Nichelle, I would say, oh no, I'm not the speaker. My brother is. I just sing. I'm telling y'all what I used to say. How retarded does that sound? Maybe I shouldn't have used that word. I'm sorry. But how crazy does that sound? How crazy does it sound that I wanted more, but I would literally, when given the opportunity, Charnice, I had the nerve to tell people, yeah, no, I don't speak. That's not what I do. I sing. My brother, he's the speaker. So what I did was I boxed myself in. I boxed myself in so that now only God could give me what I would sing for, not what I would speak for. Oh, so then what happened is I'm at an event. I started a company in 2008 and I really started doing well. And I think they needed somebody to like fill in for something happened that I end up on stage telling my story. And let me tell you what happened. So as I'm telling my story on stage, and I realized that I was getting applauded for the same story that I held guilt and shame for, something shifted in my brain. Now, although I am very introverted, give me a mic and I won't shut up. Because now, you see, these traumas or these scenarios we've placed in our mind, let me tell you why I wouldn't speak. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? Let me tell you why the enemy wanted to keep me quiet. See, the enemy wanted to keep me quiet because I thought nobody wanted to hear what I had to say because I was a teen mom. Then I had another baby out of wedlock. And then my first marriage ended in divorce. And oh my God, I was like the scarlet letter. So I thought that what I had to say wasn't valuable based on my experiences and the things that I had done that kind of flawed me. Does that make sense? So my excuse was, well, I don't speak. That's my brother. My brother speaks because he's like sum cum laude. No, I sing. He speaks. I was hiding. Until Alyssa, I was forced on stage to speak and tell my story. And then Deacon Clarence, what happened as I began to tell my story, I got freed from myself. That's what I had to get freed from. It had nothing to do with nobody else, Jasmine. I had to get freed from myself. Here's what I had to recognize. That God had already forgiven me for that sin. And that people didn't have a hell or a heaven to put me in. And I didn't have to answer to people, Cheryl. And so when I realized, Cheryl, that I didn't have to answer to people, and then I'm up there and I'm telling my story, and now I'm being applauded for being like a warrior and I came out on the other side and I wasn't sitting somewhere twiddling my lips and and I kept pressing on and I wanted to do more for my kids and I'm trying to make it work. And then all of a sudden, the story is like this now. See, but the enemy wants to keep us in a place, Tara, where we continue to keep looking at our flaws or our mistakes so we won't talk. So I said those crazy things. I don't speak. I don't do that. So I was afraid that I wasn't going to sound like my brother, so I wouldn't speak. Now, the way that I speak now with power and authority, I didn't speak like that in 2008. I didn't speak like that in 2014. But let me tell you what happened. I started reading, and what goes in is what comes out. What goes in is what comes out. What you listen to, what you hear, what you write down, what goes in is what comes out. You want to sound better when you're speaking in front of people? Fill your fridge. This is what my mentor calls filling your fridge. You want to sound more prolific? Read a book. I don't just go around copying other people's quotes and what they say. No, I study to show myself approved. And you can tell every time I've gone to another level because I have a different level of authority and different words come out my mouth. Oh, you can tell. Everybody that knows me can tell that I'm not the same person from a month ago. I'm not the same person from last year. I'm not the same person from January of this year. I'm not the same person since last week. Okay, so this is it. If you want, turn off the TV and only be on social media when you're posting. Stop just scrolling. Some of y'all know more about what's going on in everybody's life on social media than you do about what's going on in your own life or in your own book, in a book. Because the person that can always tell me, did you see? No, I didn't see. No, I didn't see because I'm busy doing this. No, I didn't see. Because when I'm on social media, I'm doing what I got to do and then I'm off. No, I didn't see that. So why is it that somebody can always tell you, girl, did you see? No, I didn't. No. Look at my bank account. Is my bank account where I want it to be? Then no, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy trying to stretch my capacity, increase my capacity, increase my influence, increase my following. And yes, it means that we have to be obsessive about it. It's going to take for us to get obsessive about it so that it happens like this, quantum leaps. So I believe that you already understand that you cannot have wealth in your material world until you have first visualized the wealth in your mind. You got to, ladies and gentlemen, we got to see it. We have to see it. I see myself at $100,000 a month. I see what the end of this year and next year and the following year is going to look like. I see what I'm physically going to look like at 60 and 65 and 70. And because now I don't program myself with broke down 70-year-old looking women, I've started reprogramming myself with 80-year-old women that look like they 50. That's what I'm looking at because that's what I want to look like. Because I realize that if somebody else has done it, then I can do it too. Somebody gonna catch what I just said. Some things are caught, not taught. If someone has already done it. So Cheryl, I broke a company record last month. And now Sharnice that I did it, guess what? It can be done. Roger Bannister was the first one to do what? Run a 4-minute mile, right? He was the first one to do it. He broke the record in under 4 minutes. So if he did it, what happened that no one could do it before him? Nobody believed that it could be done. But the moment he broke the record, how many people have come behind him and done it over and over and over and over again? See, what's different between me and any other person that believes that they can't get it done is that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get it done. Somebody gonna catch that. I'm willing to meet somebody and at a park and then invite them to my house. Oh, okay. I'm willing to drive an hour, 2 hours. I'm willing to be uncomfortable. I'm willing to lose sleep. I'm willing to go alone if I have to. I'm willing. So what am I willing to do that you aren't willing to do, but you say you're all in and you say, this is what I want. See, I have the picture of what I want and what wealth looks like in my mind. And because I know what it looks like, then it's whatever it takes. Somebody, okay. Y'all want me to just read the book? Y'all want Nina to shut up? In the proceeding, so this means that before any of us can begin to overcome the poverty which surrounds us in our external world, the poverty that surrounds us in our external world, we must first conquer the impoverishment that is buried deep within ourselves. Y'all, the empowerment, that poverty mindset is not just outside. How many of y'all got family members that I think we talked about this last week. Well, I mean, why she gotta move? Well, why they gotta get a bigger house? You know, there was a part of me that was like, well, we can downsize when we move out of here. We can downsize. And guess what, y'all? I was talking to a very, very wealthy friend of mine, Sharnice. I mean, he's wealthy. Like his screen in his theater is like almost $100,000. Okay, he wealthy, like 4 point something million dollar house, right? And I said to him, you know, because they all kind of rag on me because they say I live so far out in Georgia, right? And they like, you need to move closer, Nina. You need to move closer. And I was like, you know what? We probably will, and we'll probably downsize. And my friend Michael said, downsize? What would you be downsizing for? And I was like, I mean, I don't need all that space. And he was like, what do you mean you don't need all that space? Why would you move smaller? He's like, Nina, that doesn't even make sense. He's like, yeah, I need all that space. He said, I don't care if it's me, my wife, and just our two little kids. Yeah, I need all that space. He said, because why would you downsize? He was like, who you been around? And I had to check myself. Like, why am I looking to downsize? I know what I like to have. I know I like space. I know I like big open spaces. I know what I like. I know how I like to make people comfortable. Why I gotta downsize? He's like, if that's what you want, why would you downsize? And I sat there like, I don't know. I didn't even have an answer for him. I had to check myself, which is why you got to get around people and stay around people who want and have more than you. You know why, Sharnice? They keep your fire lit. You know why I like going over Nehemiah's mansion that he rents out? That ain't the mansion he live in, y'all. That's the other one that he owns that was $4.5 million. The mortgage is like $36,000 a month, something like that. $27,000 a month, something crazy like that. I think it's $27,000. Something crazy, right? You know why I like going over there, Alyssa? Because I need to be in an environment that stretches me. I'm out of it's like, whoa. Yes, it stretches the way that I think. You know why I like to invite people to my home? And I listen, we live as far as I'm concerned, I think we live in kind of modest compared to like how all my other wealthy friends are living, right? But I like to invite people here because when they walk in the doors, they do like this. Whoa. You know why? I need them to stretch the way they're thinking. I need to bring people close to me so they can see that if Nina could do it, then you certainly can do it too. I don't even have a degree. I wasn't even good in math. And then I'm like, you want to spend the night? I want people to feel that, to see that it is possible. Get around people when you're allowed, because guess what? You may not always be allowed. But when somebody allows you an opportunity, let me tell y'all, every time Neo send me an invite, I'm going unless I'm out of town. And there was a little stint in the beginning of the year when Nehemiah kept having things that I couldn't go to. Then finally we saw each other and he's like, where you been? You've been missing in action. He's like, nah, I'm just kidding. He's like, I see you been in all these other countries and in Philly and and I was like, yeah, I had to do the cousins thing earlier this year. But he recognized, but I don't miss an opportunity because what if the invites stop coming? Y'all see? And when I go, Miss Betty, I got to make sure that I'm connecting with enough people that even if the invites stop there, the invites might open up somewhere else. I hope y'all are getting this. This means that before any of us can become can overcome poverty, which surrounds us in our external world, we must first conquer the impoverishment that is buried deep within ourselves. In the preceding pages, I explain how properly understood, prosperity properly understood is simply the inward awareness of the opulence, wholeness, and completeness that abounds within the spiritual realm. This is spiritual. I need y'all to write that down. This is spiritual. And that's the problem. We trying to make it physical or carnal, and it's spiritual. Whenever people start wang, 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 it's spiritual. It's all spiritual. And I know that it's spiritual. And I can tell how much a person is in tune or reading and praying and studying versus those that are not, based on what they say or complain about. Because wealthy people, you all, never complain. They're always looking for a solution. Let me tell y'all something. I'm around Nehemiah quite often. I'm typically one of the oldest people in the room. Me. Everybody younger than me. Okay? Maybe one other person that might be a little close to my age. When I'm there, I never hear them talking about anybody else. Somebody gonna catch that. I never hear it. They are never, did you see what such and such and such? Yeah, nope. They are always, Ebony, talking about how to get money. Let me just keep reading. It is impossible to feel poor when you are conscious of being enveloped in the protective care of a loving God, a universal spirit, or whatever else you may wish to call the spiritual center of our universe. Let me repeat, there never never has been any lack of supply other than that which we have created for ourselves because of our own limited awareness. So there is no lack. There is no lack. It's personal. You just lack awareness. Because there is no lack. The Bible says there is no lack. That's what the Bible says. And the book, this chapter is titled, Expect an Abundance. Expect it to happen in overflow. And so if you expecting it to happen, that means because it's possible, because it's already there, you just haven't tapped into it. So good. The light bulb tale. And we almost done for the day. The light bulb tale. The following story should underscore this great truth about your infinite source of supply. We have an infinite source of supply. I keep telling you guys, I told you to write, there's no lack. There is no lack. The only thing you lack is awareness. There is no lack. And you lack awareness because of how you think. Get your mind out the gutter. You lack awareness because there is no lack. So visualize, if you will, a poor couple who have spent their entire lives living in the backwaters of civilization. Then imagine them suddenly transported to a small village where, to their astonishment, they discover that their new home is being lighted by electricity. Since they have had no previous experience with that force, in fact, they have never ever seen an electric light before, they are completely mesmerized by the little 8 candle-powered electric bulbs which light their home. Several months pass by, and eventually the couple start to regard the light bulbs as an accepted facet of modern life. However, one day a smooth-talking salesman appears at their door telling them that their 8 candle power electric bulbs are no longer adequate for their needs. He tells them that they should buy the new 60 candle power bulbs, which have just come on the market. Since the couple has now become slightly more adventuresome, they agree to let the salesman demonstrate his newfangled product. As soon as the new light bulb is plugged in and the electricity is turned on, the couple becomes transfixed once again, for not only does the new light bulb emit a light, it actually illuminates the entire room. Never in their wildest fantasies had the couple ever imagined that the source of the new flood of illumination had been there all the time. Somebody gonna catch that. You know, sometimes you be looking for your glasses and stuff, or a pen, or your keys, or your cell phone, and it be in your hand, and it be right there all the time. The whole time you were looking for something that you already have. Oh my goodness, this is so good. And where we at all the time. Nor had they realized that this enormously increased light could originate from the same current that fed their little 8 candle power bulb. It's strange. We smile at the naivety demonstrated by this poor couple. But the truth is, most of us are even less aware of our own power than this couple was of the power of the electric current. Like that couple, we never ever dreamed that the infinite current that surrounds us could flood our lives with a light more magnificent than the most powerful light bulb ever devised. We never grasp the simple truth that all we need to do to improve our results is plug a larger, more prosperous idea into the infinite current of a life. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You know why most people never go beyond what they've already done? Do y'all know why? Put it in the comments if you know why most people never go beyond what they've already done. Let me see the answers. Fear. What else? Scared of leaving their comfort zone. They don't have clarity in what they want because they keep having the old conversation. They never go beyond what they've already done because they never set a goal to go beyond it. So you keep hitting the same mark as if that's something to celebrate. Does that make sense? So you'll never, ever go to the next level if you don't set the goal to go to the next level. Make sense? We have to set the goal to go to the next level. So that now, remember, your mind doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. So because the brain doesn't know, your subconscious mind does not know the difference between the truth and a lie. So because it doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie, we must keep feeding it where we want to go. And then all of a sudden our little brains start going. You keep trying to set the goal based on what you already have or know. That's why you won't set the goal bigger, because you think that you can't have anything bigger based on what you know or where you're at or what you have right now. You look in the bank account before you set the goal. That's not what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to set the goal because, wait a minute, we're supposed to expect and what? Abundance based on the chapter. And if we're setting an expectation of abundance, then we can set whatever goal we want because there is no lack. Y'all wrote it down. There is no lack. That's right, Miss Betty, just like them patches. Sends a little signal and boo doo 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 doo. It sent a little signal down my leg because I had to record it because I said people are not going to believe me unless I record it. And I recorded that little cramping happened on my, don't even get me started. Anyway, instead, most of us strangle our supply with energy impoverished thoughts of doubt and fear, which entirely cut off the inflow of prosperity. So the moment you write the goal, but then snatch it back, Jasmine, because fear set in, you done popped the light bulb. You done popped the light bulb. I want to exhort you to resolve to change your habitual pattern of thinking now. That's what the book says. Change your habitual pattern of thinking. When? Now. Now. That's right. Change it now. And remember the stream of Plenty always flows towards the open and expectant mind. So if your mind isn't open and expectant of what could happen for you, then the stream of plenty won't flow towards you. You must understand you already have in substance, if not in physical form, everything necessary to produce prosperity in your material world. You already have it inside of you. It's there. The two determining factors for you to attain the results that you want are desire and expectation. Write it down. Two factors we must have to obtain what we want is desire and expectation. Up to this point, you might have been living the way the masses live their entire lives simply because you are harboring the false assumption that desire is the only thing that you need to reach your goal. But you must understand that if your desire is not combined with the expectation that you will receive what you desire, you will find yourself continually frustrated and disappointed whenever you begin working toward any kind of material goal. When you cast your mind back over the experiences of your own life, you will soon realize that whenever you did reach a desired goal, you not only desired that goal, but you expected to attain it as well. Let me repeat. Desire without expectation is nothing more than wishful thinking. As we have already pointed out, since the vast majority of people wish positive but expect negative, did y'all hear that? Most people wish positive and then after wishing, they expect something negative to happen. Like, how does that even, I don't understand how a person could wish something positive and then be like, yeah, but you know what? I know we got this call on Monday nights. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and invite. I'm gonna do what Nina says. She getting on my nerves. I mean, how many scripts she gonna give us? Oh, don't think people don't say it. I mean, let me go ahead and invite some people. I mean, they ain't gonna show up no way. Oh, Bernadette, they done popped the light bulb. They've popped the light bulb because you are now saying something wishful, but killing it with negativity. So he says, let me repeat, desire without expectation is nothing more than wishful thinking. And as you have already pointed out, since the vast majority of people with positive but negative, the vast majority of people wish positive but expect negative, they seldom attain what they are after. They don't even get it. In his magnificent book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, it's actually a really good book, y'all, gave us an excellent definition of desire. Listen to this definition. Desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility within seeking expression without through your action. So, desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility. I desire it. I may not know how it's going to happen, is what this says. Within seeking expression without through your action. What that means is that I then begin to act, Alyssa, like I'm wealthy. I begin to dress like I'm wealthy wherever I go. I begin to speak like I'm wealthy. I speak those things that are not as though they are. That's what this means. It's saying I may not have what I just put out in the atmosphere, but I'm going to act like it. I'm going to talk like it. I'm going to walk like it. I'm going to hold my head up high in expectation that what I put out there in the atmosphere will come to pass. That's what that means. Desire is acting like it's happening until it does. Do we all understand? So in other words, your ideal dream or goal, the wealth that you wish to materialize, can only become a desire once it has been properly planted in the subconscious mind. Most people didn't even do what we talked about in chapter 2. When I said you got to write it out. Well, that's what the book said. We had to write it out. I think 2 people told me that they did it. 2. And I think on that particular one, we had about 47 people on. See, every week the numbers get smaller and smaller, y'all, because we know that, the tougher the book gets, the numbers start like dwindling down. But this says it can only become a desire once it has been properly planted in the subconscious mind. Because again, the subconscious mind does not know a difference between what? The truth and a lie. So once your desire has been firmly established, an expectant attitude ensures that your goal or dream is not uprooted or replaced by any opposing or competing ideas. So if you are easily knocked off your little stool, your desire was not really planted. You playing. You playing. Because you don't really believe it. It just sounded good. Well, let me write this down because it sound good. But when you don't really mean it, only when you really mean it, no matter what happens, my parents could pass away and I wouldn't stop. Oh, see, that's too real for some people. That's too real for some people. Something could happen to my dog and I would still be moving forward. But see, that's too real for people. We love to have excuses. We love to have excuses. But this says, once your desire has been firmly established, an expectant attitude ensures that your goal or your dream is not uprooted or replaced by any opposing or competing ideas. So when a person is knocked off their square, Alyssa, guess what? I know that they didn't mean it from the beginning. It just sounded good. They didn't really plant the thought. They didn't really plant it because you can't be uprooted from what you really say that you want when it's really what you really want. In an effort to help you kindle this expectant attitude toward real wealth, let us journey together through some of the preceding chapters in this book. As you will remember, we began by discussing money. We attempted to understand the true nature of money and concluded that it is a useful, obedient servant. Money is a servant, y'all. It is just a servant. Money is a servant. However, as with all servants, we learned it is useful to us only when it is being employed. Oh, Lord, we can't even go back there today. Therefore, money must always be kept working or otherwise circulating. For people that are really, really, it amazes me. I think about all the people that are afraid to invest money. You tell them do a $12.99 pack. They looking at you crazy. But I looked at people here in Atlanta that bought tickets to all 4 of her shows. All 4 of them. Different outfits for every night. I mean, some people flew here. Plane ticket, hotel, food, 4 outfits, 4 show tickets. But these are the same people that'll claim they don't have money for something. So their money, you know why they claim that or they think that? Because they're not employing the money. They're investing the money into something that's not bringing a return. Therefore, money must always be kept working. Next, we explored the idea relating to exactly how much money you want. Chapter 2. You become aware of the fact that it is necessary to be very specific about how much money you need to provide the things that you want to live in the style that you choose. Once this figure has been decided upon, we examine the importance of building the image of ourselves as already in possession of the wealth on the screen of our conscious mind. We also talk briefly about the manner in which images are formed and the role that they play in our lives. Then we examine the idea of consciousness and how it was imperative to develop the prosperity which we seek in our mind first before we can ever attain it in our bank books. We learned how we had to bathe our subconscious minds in a concept of prosperity and how we had to see wealth as being already in our possession. In the chapter, Let Go and Let God, we became aware, which was the last chapter, chapter 4, we became aware that we are co-creators. We become aware of how we had in our conscious mind the ability to choose any thoughts we wanted and to build any images that we choose to build. We then learned how we could turn that image over to our subconscious mind, the spiritual center of our being, the part of us that takes any idea or image that we give to it, willingly accepts it, and it instantly begins to move into a physical form in our world. We discovered that when we truly understand this creative process of life and our role in it, that expectation becomes a natural mindset. Regardless of how things might appear in our outside world or what others might be saying to us, we were told that this absolute and unshakable faith in fact that our images are moved into form is essential if we are to become successful in our lives. We also gained an awareness that all of this will happen once we begin to see ourselves as non-physical entities encased in physical bodies. Once we realize that our bodies are nothing other than the physical manifestation of our non-physical selves, we will understand that they are obedient servants of our mind. Our body is going to do what our mind says, which is why people will join a weight loss company and stay in that company for 10, 15, 20 years and never lose a pound because they never intended to lose the weight. Once you really intend to do something, you do it. You do it. When you really intend to do something, we do it. When people don't do it, it was never an intention. It was a thought, but it wasn't an intention. All right? It's not to beat nobody down, it's the book. So it says, servants of our mind, which move, manifestation of the non-physical self. You must reach the stage in our recording. Oh no, go back. Bodies, nothing other than the physical manifestation of our non-physical selves. We will understand that we are obedient servants of our mind, which move and have their being according to the vibratory rate of our minds. You must reach the stage of our mental development where you just don't believe that your image of material wealth will manifest in form, but you actually know it will. So I don't just believe what my goals are for December 31st, 2025. Like, I know it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know that in about another 30 days or something, there's going to be like a massive explosion in what I'm doing. And there are a lot of people that are going to just be blessed because of timing and positioning. But I know what the intended end is. And every day that a person is kind of like skeptical, not making a move, that's on them. The clock is ticking. And I already know what's going to happen. I know that it will. At that point, you will begin to expect to receive the physical expression of your image of wealth. You're living out right now what your image of wealth is. We all are living out right now what our image of wealth is. And no one and no thing will be able to cause you to see anything but that in your mind. I don't care how many motivational speeches I give. If you don't have that picture in your mind for yourself, it doesn't matter. Always remember, the truth is not always in the appearance of things. It's here. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to make myself a note where we are going to start next week on Monday. It is 6:53. I want to make sure I give my voice a little bit of a rest before my 8 o'clock call. I am going to stop the recording. Stay with me for 1 second. So I'm so glad that we had this time together. Again, my name is Nina Moore, and I pray that there was something that we said that will make you to come back next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and bring somebody with you. Make sure, you know what? Matter of fact, no. Is next Monday the 21st? Let me look at the calendar. It's not the 21st, right? It is the 21st. Next Monday, we will not be here next Monday. So we will be off next Monday, but we'll be back the following Monday because I actually have a speaking conference the entire day. So Monday the 21st, mark it in your notes that we are not here. If you're watching this online, we will not be here Monday, July the 21st. All right. Now, I may or may not maybe just try to go live in between time and maybe read a little bit so that we can kind of stay on track or not. I don't know. We'll see what the Holy Ghost says, right? We'll see what the Lord says. But I'm so glad that we had this time together. And I pray that you all have an amazing rest of your evening and a great rest of your week. Be kind to one another. Do a good deed and pay it forward. And make sure you are following me on all social media platforms. We'll see you the week after, not the 21st, but on the 28th of July, Monday, July 28th. All right, we'll see you.